Since 2014, the revolutionary force in retro entertainment. Hey guys, welcome back to ASMR Retro. Today I'm doing episode 15 of the Games of AVGN. Now this episode he called Chronologically Confused About Bad Movie and Video Game Sequel Titles. Just rolls off the tongue. And it was originally released in November 28th of 2006. Now in this video, he talks about different games and movies that have confusing sequel titles, like Street Fighter, what else does he do? Final Fantasy, Mega Man. Then he does like Rocky and Rambo movies and a bunch of movies like that. I'm not gonna go over everything. I'm just gonna talk about one movie series in particular, which I find interesting, specifically the Naked Gun series. So he talks about how there's, the first movie, and then the second movie, Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear, and then he goes all the way to the last one, Naked Gun 33 in the third. But he's like, what about all the ones in between? What about part 3, 4, 5, and 6, and so on? And this really surprised me. I'm surprised that he doesn't know about all the other Naked Gun movies. So I figured, you know what, let me fill in the gap of his knowledge and list all the Naked Gun movies, because they're all absolute classics. I have them all on VHS. I love every one of them. So here we go. That's what we're gonna do today in this video. So okay, the first one, of course, is, I'm just gonna put NG instead of Naked Gun because I'm gonna be writing that way too often. Save some space and time, you know what I'm saying? So okay, that was the first one, hilarious classic movie. And then there's Naked Gun 2.5, and the subtitle is The Smell of Fear. Okay, now we're getting into unknown territory for the angry video game nerd. I'm sure you guys are well aware of these movies, but this has to be done. So we have Naked Gun 3 is called Cruise Control. So then we go to Naked Gun 4, and this one is called The Return of Vincent Ludwig. So Vincent Ludwig is the villain in the first movie, and he makes his return, which you might think is weird because he gets squashed by the steamroller thing and run over and all that stuff, but they actually explain it quite well, so you don't want to miss that one. Then there's Naked Gun 5, and they went with a little bit of a different direction in this one, a little bit more, raunchy, a little bit more for an adult audience. 50 Shades of Gunmetal Gray. So for you adults, that's definitely a date night type of movie, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so then next up is Naked Gun 6. Naked Gun 6. Back to the sequel. And yes, there's time travel involved. Pretty good actually. Put some other time traveling movies to shame. Now, once you've done the time travel thing, what else is there left to do? You know what I'm talking about. Enter the multiverse. Enter the multiverse. Pretty crazy. There's like a million different Frank Drebins and from alternate universes. It's great. It's fantastic. Love it. It was ahead of its time, I think. Okay. Naked Gun number 8 is called, this one's kind of controversial, The Trial of Officer Nordberg. The Trial of Officer Nordberg. So we'll just move on from that. Okay, Naked Gun 9. So by this time, I think they thought people were getting tired of the Naked Gun movies. I don't know how they could think that, but so this was supposed to be, that's it, this is the final one, no more. So they called it Drebin Goes to Hell. The final gun. Drebin Goes to Hell. The final gun. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. If this was the final one, it would have been a good way to end it off, but you can't keep a good guy down, because that did so well on the box office that they brought him back with Naked Gun X, also known as Naked Gun 10, Roman numerals in case you're not aware. And of course they called it Naked Gun X Resurrection. And you gotta see the way they revive Drebin. It's pretty amazing. So now we go to Naked Gun 11. This one is called Reloaded. An action-packed edition. And then there's Naked Gun 12, which they called Out of Ammo. Not as much action in this one, I have to admit. Okay, now we have Naked Gun 13. 13 is associated with bad luck often, so when we think about the 13th movie in a long-running series, there's only one thing that they can do, which is Drebin, I think you know where this is going, versus Jason Statham. And I gotta tell you, this was scary, terrifying. The amount of gore was through the roof. Good to see them bringing in Jason Statham into this series. And yes, they called him by his real name, so. Okay. Moving along here, we have Naked Gun 14. And this one is called, Drebin and who plays Priscilla Presley, what's her name in the movie? I think her name is Jane. But anyways, they finally have a child together. So they called it Son of a Gun. It's more of a family type comedy thing with the little baby gun running around. It's a nice departure from the usual stuff, movie that the whole family can enjoy. Okay. Okay, Naked Gun 15 is called like father, like gun. So it doesn't make too much sense because it takes place a year later, but his son is like 25 years old now, and he joins the police force, and they become, partners. So it's kind of like a buddy comedy, but it's father and son comedy, I guess. Pretty good. Okay, make sure you can see this. Let's shift this up a little bit. Okay, gonna need a second sheet of paper for sure. So Naked Gun 16 is called. This one was kind of weird, but still enjoyable for different reasons. Police Squad versus Mecha Godzilla. Strange sounding concept, I know, but there was no CG in this. It was just a guy in a suit, and it's pretty damn good, I gotta say. If you're into the big guy in a suit monster movies, this is a good one, with a little bit of comedy, of course. Okay, what's next? Naked Gun 17 is... Okay, this one's weird. So, let me explain first. So they made a game based on Naked Gun, and it was so popular that they made a movie based on the game. So it's Naked Gun 17, the movie. No, I screwed that up. It's a Naked Gun, the game, the movie. The game, the movie. And so the game had its own continuity. So therefore the movie, this is the only one that doesn't really follow the continuity of the rest of the movies, but hey, that's just what it is. Okay, then we go to number 18. Naked Gun 18. This one they tried to go a little bit more dramatic, trying to maybe win an award or of some sort by doing a serious drama. But this one is Fried Gun Tomatoes. And I'm not ashamed to say I shed quite a few tears during this one. It's that good. It's that good. Okay, where are we now? We are on number 19. Naked Gun 19. And this one is called Return to Shawshank. So yeah, for some reason Frank Drebin wants to break into Shawshank. Usually you want to escape such a prison. Kind of a weird, funny concept, but those kinds of movies are always fun. Okay, Naked Gun 20. Drebin joins the army. Drebin joins the army. Pretty funny. You can imagine. I don't have to explain. Okay, then there is Naked Gun 21. Hey, that rhymes. Naked Gun 21. Drebin saves Christmas. A really good Christmas movie. One of my favorites. I watch it every year. Maybe I'll review it this year for Christmas. And then Naked Gun 22. And this one is... That one was so popular that they made this one. Drebin saves Christmas. Again, exclamation point. So yeah, pretty much more of the same, but the first one was so good. Well, not the first one, the previous one was so good that that sounds like it's offensive to police officers, but that's not what they mean by the title. Basically, in the movie, all the police officers go on strike. So what they do is they get actual pigs to fill in the role of the police officers, and they do a better job. So yeah, that's what that one's about. Just to make sure we're all cool. Okay, let me switch the page now. Okay, continuing now with in G. Which one is this? Yeah, we're on 26, right? 26, Naked Gun. 26, this one is called... I'll make sure I get it right. Please. Oh, this marker is running low. I think it's oops, there's no E in squad. It's at its last video, this marker, that's for sure. But anyways, Police Squad versus RCMP. So it's kind of like a US versus Canada thing, and it was good to see a true American like Frank Drebin, take down those lousy Canadians. So very patriotic one there. And then we have, okay, moving along here, Naked Gun. 27 is, now these three following ones are pretty, got a lot of mixed reactions. But anyway, this one is the Police Force Awakens. The Police Force Awakens. And then there is Naked Gun 28. Number 28 was called The Last Officer. And then finally, in this mini trilogy here, trilogy within a bunch of sequels, is called The Rise of the Squad. The Rise of the Squad. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people hate these ones. They kind of ruined the series, but I think there's still some value in these movies, and I enjoy them from time to time. Okay, so that was 29. Now we're at Naked Gun 30. So, it's the 30th one. It's a big deal. It's special. So they switched to Roman numerals for this one. So they called it Naked Gun XXX. Naked Gun XXX. And the subtitle is Hard Insurrection. Naked Gun XXX Hard Insurrection. Now, I thought this one was hilarious, but a lot of people complain saying it's inappropriate. I don't get it. I don't see what the problem is. But anyway. Okay, people are just gonna complain about everything these days. So then there's Naked Gun 31. That one also rhymes. For this one, they went with Honey, I Shrunk the Cops. Honey, I Shrunk the Cops. Pretty good one. Some nice effects in this one. And then there's Naked Gun 32. We're almost there, folks. Naked Gun 32 is called Air Patrol. Air Patrol. And it was good to see Leslie Nielsen, or is it Liam Neeson? No, I'm kidding. Leslie Nielsen returned to an airplane, like the movie Airplane, so that was pretty cool. And then we have Naked Gun 33. Actually, no, I screwed that up. There's no Naked. That's a good point. So Naked Gun 33, they tried something different, which they kind of screwed up the numbering system, in my opinion. They is all the Naked Gun movies that the angry video game nerds somehow didn't know about. So there you go. I'm glad to fill in that gap in his knowledge.